Sean Payton and Russell Wilson have some serious beef going on right now. There's an unwritten rule in the NFL that coaches are never supposed to publicly criticize players, especially former ones, to the media. And Sean Payton, he crossed that line when he was praising Jaxson Dart and how well he played against his defense and how well he's looked up to this point this season. He also managed to throw shade at Russell Wilson. And what Sean Payton essentially was saying was that Jaxson Dart has played so well, he'd rather have saw Russell Wilson than see him, which I think everybody would rather play Russell Wilson at this stage of his career. He no longer is what he used to be 2 weeks ago when the Giants played the Eagles on Thursday Night Football. Jaxson Dart had to go into the medical tent for concussion protocol. Russ came in through one pass. It was a dirt ball, got booed by the entire stadium, and Brian Dable was going absolutely berserk in the medical tent. Where's Jaxson Dart? Get him out there. I don't care if he has concussion now. We need him out there now. And that tells you everything that you need to know about how the league views Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is one of the most likable guys in the league in the eyes of the media and casual fans. But there's a split of players that are huge fans of Russell Wilson, like DK Metcalf, Bobby Wagner, and a good amount of players like Richard Sherman, Marshawn Lynch, KJ Wright, who aren't the biggest supporters of Russell Wilson. And where there's smoke, there's fire. I believe that Russell Wilson is a class act. I think that he's a good person. He's a former Walter Payton Man of the Year winner. He does right by his teammates, doesn't really say anything that causes unnecessary attention. For the most part, Russell Wilson is a solid dude, but I think why there is such a disconnect between Russell Wilson and his former teammates is he's not your typical guy in the locker room. He's not one of those dudes that's going to go out after the game and cahoot with the fellas. You know, he's a family man. He goes, he handles business on the field, and once it's over, he's going home to his beautiful wife and kids, and he's chilling with the fam. Sean Payton, when he first got to Denver, it was alleged that he had to make Russell Wilson more connected with the team. Russell Wilson, before Sean Payton arrived, he had his own locker, he had his own office, separate from the rest of the team. And what turns certain players off that have played with Russell Wilson is he felt he was above the rest of the team. And that's why they felt like Russell Wilson never felt like one of the fellas, because he was so disconnected from everybody else. And Russell Wilson, although he's a solid dude, he is a little bit weird in a sense. And normally your quarterback is able to be easily accessible to the rest of his teammates. Marshawn Lynch, though, when he tried to get in contact with Russell Wilson, when they were still balling with each other in Seattle, he had to go through Russell Wilson's agent or one of his representatives to get in contact with Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson kind of has a Hollywood feel to him. And that's why a good amount of former teammates don't really like him. And he wasn't the easiest player to coach as well. In Pittsburgh, him and Arthur Smith were constantly butting heads. And Sean Payton, although he was unprofessional with how he went about taking his jabs at Russell Wilson, and no matter what people try to say, Sean Payton knew exactly what he was doing with his comments about Jaxson Dart. He was propping up Jaxson Dart, but tearing Russell Wilson down in his praise of Jaxson Dart in the process, and that's why Sean Payton's comments come off as unprofessional. But although Sean Payton's comments can be perceived as unprofessional, look, the truth hurts. Sean Payton is an old school coach, and he's not somebody that's going to beat around the bush when it comes to expressing how he feels about particular issues and particular players. And everything that Sean Payton has said in the past when it has come to criticizing former players and former coaches have been 100% factual. When he came out a few years ago, when he first took the Broncos job and criticized how bad of a job Nathaniel Hackett did with the offense, he was right. Look how bad the Jets offense was with Nathaniel Hackett calling the plays as the OC for the 2 years that he was there. With Zach Wilson and with the healthy Aaron Rodgers, the offense just wasn't good. With Russell Wilson, he hasn't been good since he got traded away from Seattle. And what Sean Payton said in his comments in his shade of Russell Wilson was essentially he'd rather have gone up against Russ than Jaxson Dart. And at this stage of Russ' career, everybody probably would want to go up against Russell Wilson. Now, prime Russell Wilson is a different story. And with how good Jaxson Dart has been, yeah, why didn't the New York Giants start him sooner? If Jaxson Dart was the week 1 starter, they probably aren't 2-5, and maybe they are slightly below 500 or at 500. But Russell Wilson, I don't think that he entirely deserved this. It was definitely uncalled for Sean Payton to take the shot at Russell Wilson that he did. And there's a bunch of shots that you can take at Sean Payton for the Bountygate scandal. But Sean Payton is going to be in the Hall of Fame. He's one of the greatest offensive minds of this generation. He's a Super Bowl champion. And contrary to popular belief, yes, Sean Payton has had success post Drew Brees. He just went to the playoffs last season with Bo Nix. And that was Bo Nix' first season replacing Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson is on his 3rd team in 3 years for a reason. He just isn't good anymore. And the hard reality that I've had to learn about life is nobody cares about how nice of a guy you are. Nobody cares about what you did in the past. When you're in the production-based business, your past and your character, nobody really cares about. That takes a back seat because everybody cares about production in the NFL. Can you throw the ball with accuracy? Can you throw the ball to the open guy? If you can, people are going to praise you. And if you can't, people are going to take whatever opportunity that they can to take shots at you if they don't like you. And in the production-based business, when you can't produce at a certain level anymore, the NFL moves on. And your character, how nice of a guy you are, takes a back seat. So with the people out there that defend Russell Wilson entirely and make it seem as if he's an angel, you're a little bit delusional. There is a little bit of truth to what Marshawn Lynch and Richard Sherman have said about Russell Wilson. During his time in Seattle, Russell Wilson, the better he got, the bigger his ego got. And that's when he became a Hollywood quarterback that guys in the locker room somewhat started to despise. Now, is there a little bit of jealousy involved in there? I believe so. But Sean Payton's comments about Jaxson Dart using him to bring down Russell Wilson was unnecessary, but it was 100% the truth. Russ isn't good. And if the Giants would have just started Jaxson Dart week 1, they would have been in a much better spot than where they find themselves in right now.